If as a fashion designer or a creative you do not make use of this particular app right here, or you do not know about it, then you have been missing, my dear. This app is called Pinterest, and it has been a lifesaver to hundreds and millions of fashion designers in this generation. This app is where I run to whenever I am short of ideas or creativity. When I don't know what to sew, I just go type in what I have in mind, and I see a lot of creative designs to draw from. And this is the inspiration behind this shirt right here. That image brought about this creativity. And guys, when I was done with it, trust me, I was so proud of myself, and it actually gave me life. Like, this shirt gave life. My client was so happy when she saw this. And this brings us to the tutorial. So you're welcome to my channel. My name is Ajibola. To the old and new subscribers, you're very, very much welcome. So let's go straight into the tutorial. So we're going to start by drafting the front pattern of the shirt, and this is just the normal basic block body that we all know. The only difference is just that we have the placket at the front. So right now I'm just taking my horizontal measurement, that is shoulder to my bust area, the shoulder to my waist, and the shoulder to the hip, or the shoulder to where you want the length of your top to be. So right now from there I'll be going inward by 2 inches. This will represent the button placket for our shirt, and I'm going to roll it out this way with a straight line. After doing that, I'll be taking the shoulder measurement divided by 2 from that placket line there. From this line, I'll be putting my shoulder measurement by 2 plus ½ inch for sewing allowance, and I'll be replicating that same measurement on the bust line there. So I'm going to be rolling it out this way. So from that line, I'll be coming down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant, and from that placket line I'll be marking my neck measurement. I'm using 3 by 3 for the front neckline, and I'll be connecting it to that 1 inch there as the shoulder slant. Then using the curve part of my ruler, I would be curving it out this way. My neckline, I'll just be curving it out this way. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is to measure from that shoulder slant downward my chest measurement. This chest measurement will be where your armhole will be seated on. And in order for you to get it, if you don't measure it on your body, this is how I use to get it. I use my bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1½ inch, and there I'm just putting my shoulder to my waist measurement, which I forgot to put, and I will be extending the line this way. So after doing that, I'll be putting my bust measurement divided by 4 on that chest line, and I'll be putting my waist measurement divided by 4 on the waistline. I'll also be putting my hip measurement divided by 4 on the hip line there, and I will be using the slightest curve to roll out my hip, because your hip is not straight, it's a little bit curvy, and I'll be curving that waist intersection as well. Now I would be measuring my shoulder line there, divided it by 2, and coming inward by ½ inch in order to drive the armhole, and I'll be using the straight part of my ruler to connect it halfway, and the curved part of my ruler to connect the rest, like that. So your armhole is already formed there. So what I'm going to do next now is to draw out the back armhole, and this is because I was short of paper and I didn't want to draft out another pattern. So I'm just going to add the back neckline here. I just drew a curve to that midpoint, and I'll be putting the back neckline. I went in by down by 1½ inch, and I'll be connecting that with my curve ruler towards the neck width of the pattern. And you can skip this part. I just came up by 1½ inch at the hip line there, and I'll be connecting it this way. I'll be cutting out the back pattern first, because we're going to be needing it to cut the back of the fabric on the fabric, I beg your pardon. And I'll be cutting out the back armhole, which I've already done, and the side as well with the hem line this way. And guys, I had already folded in my button placket, so it's still there. Now I want to do the sleeve, and the sleeve I just mark out the length of our sleeves, but plus 2 inches allowance for hemming, and the cap height here, which I've already ruled the line, and on that line I'll be putting in my my arm circumference plus 4 inches extra. Now from there, here I am marking it plus 4 inches extra, and the wrist measurement plus 2 inches extra, and from that point I'll be drawing a diagonal line to the top of the paper there, and I'll be marking out the midpoint of that, and I'll be coming downward by half inch, and half of that line I'll be marking the midpoint of it as well, and the other part the midpoint as well, to divide it in um 4 equal parts, you can see here. And right now I'm going to be, there's a detailed video in my channel on how to draft the sleeve, but I'll just be brushing it through here. And here I am, I went up by 1/4 of an inch here, 1/2 of an inch here, and 1/4 of an inch downward there. So right now I'm just going to draft the back armhole first. This is it, it's going to pass through the midpoint towards the top and downwards, and the front part of the armhole, here I am connecting it to the down part here with a curve, and I will be passing it through towards that top. So you're going to use your curve here, and this is it. So you're going to pass it like this, and that's the back, and that's the front. The top curve is for the back, and the back curve is for the front. Now I am going to add my 2 inches extra for the arm length there, and I'll be connecting it like this. So I'll be cutting it out this way. So I'll be cutting out only the back curve for the armhole first, because I'll be using it to cut out the front as well. So right now I am placing my fabric on a fold with my pattern on it. This is the same pattern, just one pattern I drafted for the front and back, so I want to cut out the back of it. And guys, as beautiful as this fabric was, it showed me shaggy, in the sense that I could not just use my scissors in cutting it. I had to opt out for my soldering iron, so I'm just adding extra ½ inch on every side of it, because I just knew it was going to fray a lot. Guys, no matter how beautiful a fabric is in the market and you see it fraying extraordinarily, please don't buy it. You get why? So right now I just placed my pattern for the sleeve on my fabric, and we're going to be cutting 4 pieces of the sleeve, 2 for the back and 2 for the front, because of the style. You're not going to be cutting it on a fold, guys. So right here I'm using my soldering iron. Don't use soldering iron in cutting your fabric. Oh, the reason why I'm using it is because my fabric was fraying a lot. So right here you can see the way I'm melting the edges out, and I'm using scissors to cut the parts that refuse to melt out easily for me, and I am still using my soldering iron to melt it. It was actually easy to use, but it cost me a lot of cutting time. Yes, so right now I'm going to cut 2 of my back pieces for the sleeve. You can see I'm labeling it as B, and I will be cutting out the other side for the sleeve. You can see this front, I'm folding in the back curve in to bring out the front curve out like this. So after folding it, I'm going to place it on my pattern this way, and I'll be melting it out. I'll be melting 2 of it. So right now I just want to draft out the pockets for the shirt. I'm going to use, I just used 8 inches for the height and 7 inches for the width. And here I am drawing out a kind of a square shape, and I'll be cutting that out as well, or melting it out as well, like this. You can see. After cutting out the pocket structure, I'll be folding it this way, the top area and the sides this way. I'll be interfacing the top as well. Now for the sleeves, I'll be folding it by 1.5 inch inward this way for the front and for the back, and I'll be interfacing it with these two interfaces, the paper stay and the lightest color stay. Now for the front as well, I folded in the placket area and I'll be interfacing the placket. I'm just trying to place my pocket on the right part of the shirt, the front part of the shirt, like this, and I'll be pinning it well. You can see it's at the area of the chest line, and I'll be pinning it in place. Then I'll be taking it to my machine to stitch these three sides and secure it on the edges this way. Now after doing that, I'll also be stitching the shoulders of the front to the back, like this, using my sewing allowance, and I'll be interfacing that placket area. So I've already joined my shoulders together, and I've already put my pocket on the front part of my shirt. It's time to shape it out. And guys, this is another method to shape out your garments. Just fold it into equal parts. On your wrong side, mark your bust measurement, and I'm just putting 1/2 inch for ease because I do not want the shirt to be too big on her. And I am putting my waist circumference divided by 4, and I'll be adding extra 1/2 inch for ease for her, as well as on the hip area I'll be putting the hip circumference measurement divided by 4 this way, and I will be adding 1/2 inch like this. So I am going to chalk it out this way very well. You need it to be chalked very well this way. You can see the way I emphasized on the chalking here, and I would be folding it this way, wrong sides facing themselves equally, like this, and I'll be tapping on that marked area because we want to imprint it on the other side, and you can see it's already imprinted. And right now I'm just going to join my front pattern to my back on the sides, and I'll be pinning it, and I'll be doing the same for the other side, and I'll be pinning it. I'll take it to my machine and stitch on that chalked area there. So after doing that, here we about to hide the button, the placket area. I'm just going to fold in my that raw edges, and I have created 2 stitches there. I'm going to also stitch on the center fold to create a kind of, style. Now I just measured my neckline all round from the front to the other end, because we need it to create our collar for the shirt. You can see here I'm measuring it carefully. So to draft the color of the shirt is quite simple. Just follow the steps that I'm about to take you through. So I'm just going to mark the half measurement of that neckline that we measured, and right now I'm going upward by 1.5 inch. This will represent the collar stand. You can make yours bigger if you want, depending on your style you want. So I'm sorry about the light, guys. It was shaking here. I was trying to adjust it, and right now I'm just going to roll that out like a rectangle. So from the edge there, I went inward by 1/4 to draw a style curve this way. And so from the edge of that the rectangle, I went inward by 1.5 inch, and right now I'm going upward by 3 inches. This is the collar width, and on the center fold there, I'm going upward by 1.5 inch there, and on that line of 3 inches, I went outward by 1/2 inch to create a slant, and using my curve area, I'm just going to connect it towards that center front there. I hope you understand. So I am now going to cut out the stand different away from the collar itself. And guys, we have not put our sewing allowance here. We'll be putting it when we're about to cut it on the fabric. So I'm just going to cut out like this. this way, and I'm cutting out the styler, and we are done with our collar. So I've gone ahead to cut out 4 pieces, 2 pieces for each part of the collar, and on a fold I cut it out on a fold. Right now I'm going to sew that part that I'm showing you right now, and I'll be using my sewing allowance. I added sewing allowance to it while cutting it on the fabric. So yeah, I am going to just trim out the excesses after I have sewn it to prevent it from being bulky. So I'm just going to trim it off this way for the collar, and I'm going to turn it inside out. I'll be using my scissors to poke it a little bit, and I'll be ironing it flat. So after ironing it, I'm going to place it in between my collar stand. But first, I'll be notching the center this way, and I'll be aligning it with the center of the collar stand like this, and I'll be pinning it this way. So the collar stand, I'll be putting it at the top part of it this way. As you can see, I'm aligning the collar to the top part of the collars, and I'll be stitching it along that part that I'm showing you. But before that, I'll be folding in the interfaced part of my collar stand this way. I'll be folding it by my sewing allowance, and I'll be stitching it all round, sandwiching the collar in between. So after doing that, I've ironed it out. So right now I'm just going to attach it to the neck of my shirt, and I'm going to do that by aligning the midpoint of the collar stand to the midpoint of the neckline of the shirt. I'm going to pin it carefully using the other parts of the collar stand that we did not fold. Remember that fold that we made when we are about to attach the collar to the collar stand. So we are going to use the other side to attach it to the neckline, and I'm going to fold it in like this and stitch it to my neckline. After doing that, it's time for the sleeve, and I'm taking one part of the back sleeve and one part of the front sleeve. I hope you understand. And I'm going to, yeah, I'm just marking the half measurement of my arm circumference on each side and the half measurement of my wrist circumference. And I'm going to put about 3 inches slit allowance from the wrist area upward, because we are attaching a cuff to it. And right now I'm going to be rolling a straight line from that part towards the wrist area, but I will not be sewing all through to the wrist area. I'll be sewing it to that 3 inches point there. This is just like the way you sew your slit of the back of a dress, the slit at the back of a dress, I mean. So I'm going to sew, and I'll stop at that 3 inches there like this, and I'm going to stop there. So right now I went ahead to fixing my eyelets and the ribbon, and right, I've already cut my cuff out, that is the cuff part of the sleeve out. Guys, remember I forgot to mention earlier on that you would be removing your cuff measurements from the length of your sleeve when drafting. So right, I've already interfaced all 4 sides, but I used different interfacing. I used 2 parts for the paper stay and the other 2 for the light color stay. So I'll be facing both sides together, one color stay, one paper stay, right sides like this, and I'll be folding this color stay part like this by ½ inch, and I'll be sewing on that side, those 3 sides I showed you. Now after sewing, I'm going to be trimming off excesses so that my cuff will be able to fold very well and neatly, and when I iron it, it's going to lay flat and nice. So I'll be doing that for both sides, which I've already done, and I'll be ironing it nicely. After ironing it nicely, I'll be folding in about ½ inch on both sides. This is for that the slit area of the sleeve I showed you earlier on, so that the person's hand will be able to pass through easily. That is why we are folding it this way. And I'll just try to fold it here. You can either do this method or sew in the sides of your sleeve first before hemming the slit area, then attach your cuff. So I went ahead to attach my cuff and sew the side using the allowance for sewing, and am going to stop at that 3 inches there. And so finally I attached my sleeve to my shirt, and I also hemmed the bottom part of my shirt. I also went ahead to untack buttons, and I made use of metal snaps for the cuff area of my shirt, and this is how it looked like, looking beautiful. It's the details for me. And we've come to the end of this tutorial. Guys, do not forget to subscribe if you haven't, and do not forget to like. I've been noticing a lot of views on my videos and few likes. Guys, when you like, you are suggesting to YouTube to recommend to other people. Remember, sharing is caring. Bye.